What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at an indie cRPG known as Space Wreck. Space Wreck, as the name might imply, puts us in the shoes of a brand new captain whose ship has recently run out of fuel, and in order to solve that problem, we have to go around a variety of shipwrecks using all the skills available to us to sort our way through that problem. And like any good cRPG, there are many ways to do exactly that. But before we dive into all that, Space Wreck has been available in early access for quite some time, I believe a little into last year even. However, it is set for its official release here on October 10th, so I figured now was as good a time as any to talk a little bit about it ahead of its actual release. The game itself takes place across a variety of space wrecks, if you'd believe it, but a little more specifically, in this universe, corporations have gone to war, essentially, with a variety of asteroid miners that has led to a large amount of debris and things in a certain area that has left some people stranded and sort of living on these old space wrecks, really just doing their best to get by in the current sort of standoff with corporations. Our character, regardless of who we build, is a brand new space captain who is unfortunately targeted by space pirates on their very first day, which leads us to needing a fuel chip to sort out our own problems. Which, first things first, requires us to make a character, of course. You can select from a few different presets, or you can choose to make a custom character, which involves assigning some attribute points and some skill points. There are 5 attributes and 6 skills. Each of these is important. However, you're not going to be able to be a jack of all trades and play this effectively. What you want to do is lean into a particular style of gameplay and use that to take you through the game's variety of approaches to solve any individual situation. To give an example, while you can build a character that is spec'd for combat, combat is completely optional. You can very much so run a pacifist build or even pick up companions or party members who can do that for you. Or you can simply build a character built for speech and talk your way out of most things. But as a cRPG, this is a game that really emphasizes choice, and while it's not a particularly long game, it is very, very replayable. Early estimates put the single runtime in about the 5 to 10 hour range. However, it's my understanding there's going to be like 4 or 5 different endings to the game, so you can easily play through it and take different approaches to individual situations to get more out of it. So to give an example, in the early game, your first sort of task is basically to refuel your shuttle so you can continue looking for a fuel chip. In order to do this, we stop at a small space station that's been abandoned for some time, full of hostile robots, and strangely enough, a variety of scavengers looking for basically the same thing we are, which is fuel. You can deal with these people in just about any way you want, working with them, stealing from them, attacking them, etc. But your ultimate goal is to simply find a fuel regulator as well as some fuel and get off this space station, and how you arrive at that goal is up to you. You can sort of charm their leader, who will let you cooperate with them at that point, at which point if you can just pick your way through a door, you'll be good to go. Another one of them will give you a task aimed at shutting down all the robots in the area. Or if you would prefer to go the more stealthy route, you can acquire some key cards that let you steal this stuff directly from these people's own ship. And the general estimates put any given quest having about 3 to 8 potential ways to be approached, emphasizing some of that replayability I mentioned, which hinges on mechanics like a sneak system, for instance. There's even a crafting station, terminals to be interacted with, a lot of the usual suspects you might expect in a game like this. And on that front, I would say Space Wreck mostly sticks the landing, even in what is available in early access or its demo. You can make a character that feels unique, which then opens up a variety of very specific options to that character to achieve your goals, which feels very rewarding. However, as this is an indie cRPG, it does have a few, I would say, drawbacks. For instance, combat is incredibly underwhelming. As it stands, you can just sort of sneak your way around most enemies as if you simply walk through a door that basically ends combat in most cases, so you can kind of just walk away from any encounter. It's also the type of game where you basically die in one hit. Even if you're spec'd for combat, you have to be very careful, and while you can recruit companions to help you, they can also die, which will void any quests you might have been doing for them, or potentially open them up, I suppose, as sometimes even failing objectives will open up slightly different approaches and takes on that situation. So while combat might not be the most impressive thing in the world, I wouldn't say it's a big goal of this game either. Regardless of what our character is good at though, we will be able to perform a variety of skill checks, and this basically happens through a basic dice roll system that adds your base level in a particular skill along with a dice roll made for that skill when you click on it, which gives you a decent amount of success or failure. The game also gives you a general indication of how likely you are to pass any of this stuff at the same time. But in doing all of those things, you will eventually level up. And when you do, every so often you'll be able to increase the skills you are good at, and slightly more uncommon, you'll be able to pick a positive and negative mark. A positive is basically a unique perk of sorts that helps us out, such as increased stats, especially in given situations. However, the negative marks tend to be small drawbacks under particular situations as well. For instance, one of them can give you an allergy to certain types of food, which you would normally eat to restore your health, of course, and combined, I think those things make for a decent amount of character progression as part of what is a relatively short game. But I would say that just about sums up what you can expect from Space Wreck, a game that focuses on its branching narrative with a big emphasis on roleplay in particular, which is definitely the kind of game I personally enjoy, so when I get a chance I will definitely be checking out the full release of this game, which is again on October 10th. In the meantime, there is a demo available for you to play if you'd like to check out a little bit of this for yourself before spending any cash on it. That said, that's pretty much going to do it for me today. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz, but regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.